I swear, the moment she said it, the world stopped spinning. It was supposed to be just another Friday night, the kind where 10 of us crammed into a tiny booth at that trendy little Italian spot downtown, laughing too loud over pasta and cheap wine. Sophie sat next to me, draped in the black off-shoulder dress I bought her for her birthday. She looked stunning, but distant. I could feel it instantly, like a cold draft that wouldn't go away. Her hand stayed in her lap instead of finding mine under the table. When I cracked jokes, her laugh found everyone but me. And when Alex spoke, one of my oldest friends, she lit up like a damn Christmas tree. I noticed. Of course I noticed. But when you're in love, you pretend you don't. At least, until you have something concrete. Dessert was halfway demolished when Sophie cleared her throat. The table quieted down, forks pausing mid-air. She loved a dramatic entrance. I should have known. With all the eyes on her, she smiled sweetly and said it straight out, like announcing the weather. I cheated on Jason. I sat there blinking, half convinced it was some twisted joke, maybe a dare, maybe a setup, but no punchline came. Instead, she took a slow, deliberate sip of her wine, glanced around the table, not at me, and added, almost gleefully, I needed a real man, someone who isn't passive, someone who actually makes me feel alive. Then she looked at me, smirking, like she expected me to crumble into dust right there. I didn't. Instead, I looked around the table. The silence was thick enough to choke on, but it wasn't shock that filled their faces. It was guilt. Alex stared at the floor. Emily fidgeted with her phone. Brian rubbed the back of his neck, the way he always did when things got awkward. You all knew? I asked, voice steady as bedrock. No one answered. You all knew, I repeated, quieter this time. Still nothing. Sophie laughed, a cruel tinkling sound, and said, Come on, Jason. They just didn't want to hurt your feelings. For a moment, I just stared at her. Then, calmly, I stood up, pulled out my keyring, and slid off the key to my apartment, the one Sophie used when I wasn't home. Without a word, I dropped it into her water glass. It made a small, satisfying splash. Guess you won't be needing that anymore, I said. Then I turned and walked out, leaving them frozen in place, a picture-perfect moment of betrayal I didn't care to stick around for. I didn't go home. I just drove. No music, no destination, just me, the road, and the furious beat of betrayal pounding in my chest. By midnight, I ended up at my brother's place. He didn't ask questions, just handed me a beer and sat with me in silence, which somehow said everything. I thought that was it. I thought I could disappear from their lives quietly, like smoke. Let them deal with the wreckage while I built something new. But the universe wasn't done yet. When I woke up the next morning, my phone was vibrating off the nightstand. 32 missed calls, dozens of texts, even a few emails. For a second, panic gripped me. Had someone died? Then I opened the first message. It was Emily. You need to talk to Sophie. She's freaking out. Something happened. Call me. Then Brian. Dude. She lied to everyone. Alex is losing it. You need to see this. Confused, heart thudding, I opened Instagram. Sophie's account? Gone. Vanished like it never existed. I checked Alex's profile. And that's when it hit me. There, clear as day, was grainy black and white security footage, time-stamped 3 nights ago. In it, Sophie was locked in a kiss with some random guy outside my apartment. Not Alex, not anyone from our circle, just some stranger on a motorcycle. The caption under the video hit harder than anything she ever said. Turns out being a real man meant being a complete stranger with a bike. Sophie lied to all of us. I defended her. I regret it. Turns out Sophie had spun everyone a web of lies. She told them she cheated with Alex. Claimed it was fate, that I was boring, weak, emotionally unavailable, the works. And Alex, swept up in some delusional savior fantasy, bought every word. That's why nobody said anything. They thought they were protecting some grand, tragic love story. But the truth ripped through the fantasy like wildfire. Apparently, the guy Sophie actually cheated with bragged about it to Alex's sister at a bar. Told her Sophie had fed him lies too. Told him I was abusive. Said she needed rescuing. The whole thing collapsed in a single night, and now, Sophie was standing in the ruins. She lost everything. Me, Alex, her carefully curated friend group. Emily texted again. "I'm so sorry. We were wrong. You didn't deserve that." I didn't answer. I won't. Some silences are meant to last forever. A week later, I moved out of that apartment. Got a new place on the other side of town. Clean walls, fresh start, no ghosts clinging to the corners. Alex came by once to apologize. I let him talk. He cried. It was uncomfortable, but maybe real. I told him, forgiveness isn't free. Maybe one day. Not today. Sophie sent a letter, an actual handwritten letter. Pages and pages of teary excuses, half apologies, desperate nostalgia. I burned it over the kitchen sink. It felt better than anything words could ever accomplish. Sometimes the real victory isn't revenge. It's refusing to pick up the pieces they shattered. It's walking away, calm, silent, while they drown in the mess they made.